My name is Ruby, and at the time of recording this video, I am a 17-year-old artist who has just been accepted into several art schools with a pretty generous scholarship from one of them. I wanted to make a video going over my college application portfolio to kind of give some examples and some tips that I learned throughout the process. I know I watched a lot of these types of videos during my process of applying, but what I struggled to find videos going over portfolios that would be similar to mine, because I am an illustration comic artist, and there were mostly videos going over painting and realism and all sorts of those things, which I have nothing against. I actually love those sorts of things too, but I'm going into comic and illustration art and struggle to find things like that. So I wanted to make kind of a little bit of a resource for people who are going into the same field as me, just to see if I can be of any help at all throughout that process, because I know it's a very stressful one. Okay, so I just filmed all of those clips out of focus, so we're gonna start over. So the first piece that I'm going to talk about is my self-portrait. Almost every school that you apply to is either going to require that you submit a self-portrait in your portfolio or recommend that you do. I very strongly recommend it because it's a good way of giving the college a good example of how you view yourself as a person and your skills and basically who you are. So I'm gonna insert a picture of that somewhere, my portrait, because I don't have the greatest lighting in here, but okay, so my camera just died, so I'm a little bit full of technical difficulties today. But so now that I talked about my self-portrait, I want to talk a little bit about technical skill pieces, because the whole point of your portfolio is to show off your skills as an artist and say, hey, I'm good enough to go here and learn to make these skills better. So even if they aren't the best in the world, if it's the best that you can do, then it's good enough. So the pieces that I chose to use for my technical skill pieces are these. A picture of my clarinet, which is done in color pencil, I believe, and a watercolor painting of a bird. Even though these aren't really my main mediums or my main subject matter, or even really my style, it's a good showcase that I can do more than just what my main focus is. It gives a good sense of variety to my portfolio, and that is something that I really, really recommend. Not spreading yourself too thin, still keep what brings you joy in art and what you feel is your strongest area. Keep that the focus, but have 2 or 3 other pieces that are maybe a little bit different than what you would usually do, so you have a little bit better sense of variety and your skills as a whole. Next piece I'm going to talk about is a little bit of a cautionary tale, I think. is while this piece that I am talking about is not bad, it isn't my best work, and I really only put it in my portfolio to fill space. And that is something that I really, really advise that you don't do. Make sure that everything that you're putting in your portfolio is what you feel is your best work or well represents you as an artist and the top level of your skills. This piece that I am talking about is not what I feel is my best work, and I really am not proud of it. So that is something that I do wish I would have done differently, is not putting that piece in my portfolio, because I don't think it is a good representation of me. So it's the next day. I just kept running into more and more technical difficulties yesterday, so I decided I'd just leave it be for the rest of the day. And so we're back now with better lighting, because there was a huge winter storm here last night, and so now everything outside is covered in snow, so it's a lot brighter. But back to the video. So the next couple pieces that I'm going to be talking about are part of my AP concentration from my junior year. In AP Studio Art, if you haven't taken it before, you have a sustained investigation, which you like follow and improve upon throughout the course of the year, and the next several pieces are all from that sustained investigation, so they have the same characters, because that's what I chose to do with my SI, was follow two characters through like the progression of their relationship. So the reason I chose to use several of the pieces from my sustained investigation for my college portfolio is not just because they are some of my best work, but also because I plan on going into comics and narrative practice. So I chose to use these because they follow a story. So I really, really recommend taking AP Studio Art if that's an option to you. I know not all schools offer it, but if your school does offer AP Studio Art, I really, really recommend taking it. It really helps me build up my art skills and also like create enough pieces to put in my portfolio, because I know before I took that class I would not have had enough pieces to put in a portfolio, because most schools will have you put between like 8 and 20. I think mine had 13 or 14. I'll put like a counter somewhere, but I really, really do recommend taking it if that's an option that's available to you. Okay, so it's like a week and a half later, and I am finally getting around to editing this video, and I realized that I forgot like 3 of my pieces from my portfolio the first time around, so let's go over those. So the next piece that I'm going to talk about is a piece from AP Studio last year again, but it is a breadth assignment. We were required to use a tea bag to create a piece of artwork in whatever way we felt like. She just gave us tea bags and we were supposed to use that. So it's not a particularly interesting piece, but just one that I felt was one of my stronger pieces and that I liked a lot, so ended up putting it in. The next piece after that is another breadth assignment. It's actually a recreation of a breadth assignment from AP Studio the year before that I did in Studio this year. Again, not a particularly interesting one, but just one that I felt was a good example of my skills. And last but not least, we have a piece from AP Studio this year. My concentration this year is on escapism through music. And my first piece that I created for that sustained investigation is a clarinet piece, because I'm a clarinetist and I hold it very dear to my heart. Yeah, that should be all of my pieces now. Okay, before we end the video, I should probably talk about the schools that I got into and the schools that I applied to and which ones I didn't apply to or decided not to. So I applied to 3 schools but had my portfolio approved by 4. So I applied to Ball State, the Minneapolis College of Art and Design, and the Columbus College of Art and Design. I had my portfolio approved by School of the Art Institute Chicago, but ended up not applying there because I knew that I wouldn't be able to afford it, and it didn't sit right with me. It just was not for me. So the first school that I got into was Ball State, which Ball State is not an art school. It's primarily a teaching school and a nursing school, but they do have a really good art program, so I applied there as sort of my like backup in case I couldn't afford to go to the other 2. The next school that I got into was Minneapolis College of Art and Design, which is it is a like art specific school, and one of the few in the general area of the country that I'm in that offers a comics degree, which is what I intend to go into. And the third school that I got into was the Columbus College of Art and Design, which, like Minneapolis, offers a comics and narrative practice degree, which I intend to get. At the time of recording this video, I have not decided where I am going to be attending. I have been given a pretty generous scholarship from Minneapolis, as well as slightly less from Columbus. So I'm currently in that process of deciding where I'll be going. Yeah, I'll probably make a video at some point when I do decide where I'm going about what that process is like, getting ready to go to college, and then probably like once I'm actually going. But I do have to finish my senior year first, so thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that it could be of use to you, that it's at least a decent example of a little bit more of an illustrative comics perspective on this style of video. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, subscribe if you want to. Bye-bye.